Absolute pleasure meeting both of you guys. First of all, the film is fantastic. I'm curious, is there a heightened level of intimidation or excitement when portraying a real life character rather than a fictitious character?
Yeah, I think there always is, especially considering, a monarch, of England. But then having said that, we have to remember there's a difference between history and storytelling. So, we have kind of a similar responsibility to what historians have. But there is then also an artistic license, and I wanted to flesh this guy out, and who knows what he was like. There's only really propagandist sort of reports as to who he was. So
yeah,
you can only do as much research as you can actually unearth and sort of find, and then it sort of it comes to that point where you have to use your imagination and your training as an actor, or just your thirst for that character, and how you talk to the director, David Mackenzie, and how you perceive this individual to be. But a lot of certainly for Angus Og MacDonald, the sort of the way I portrayed him was very much the relationship with Robert the Bruce and his sort of loyalty towards him. So that was of course you feel a huge responsibility, but at the same time there is poetic license, and you get to play.
Yeah.
But as long as you keep a feeling of an essence of the man or the woman, then hopefully we've done our job.
Yeah.
But then that's up to other people to decide, I guess.
Purely subjective. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were saying about researching the characters. Was there one interesting fact for both of you that you found out about your character that you found?
Yes, he is the spitting image of me. There's a photograph of Angus Og MacDonald from like the 14th century, and it sort of goes down. It's all these sort of modern women and men, and one of these pictures of dogs and hunting dogs, and then it comes to Angus, and he's like got this ginger beard with red hair and this rather large hooked nose that I can thank my mother for. But and I was like, when I saw it, I was like, ah! So physically he's sort of similar, and obviously I'm not sure. Well, loyalty, I like to think, look, I've got a bit of loyalty, and of course the plain old butchery, which comes out in some of us sometimes as well, eh, Billy?
It does indeed.
Being from Glasgow, obviously.
An interesting fact, it's a good one. There's a few things. One, he was a sort of very consummate athletic man. So anything that he took his hand to, rowing or running foot races, as they called it then, and sword fighting. And also to debunk this myth, I think it was propagated by a play about Edward II, which was the way in which he met his demise. Yeah. I shan't say any more than that because it's not a particularly nice story, but essentially it was written to try and kind of for the purposes of defamation of his character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my first time in Scotland, and it's absolutely mesmerizing. And I'm curious for you guys. I know it's your homeland, and you're a little bit further south. What's the the excitement that you guys get in the film, over here rather than like in a sound studio in Los Angeles or something like that?
Yeah, no, me and Billy talked about it yesterday. I think it definitely, as an actor, you get into the costumes, especially when you're doing something as sweeping and as epic and as this is. You get into these sort of fine garbs and then armour, horses, sword wielding. But then a lot of this is a film, there's another character, and that's the elements, it's the mountains, it's the glens, it's the rivers, the lochs. So, when we were fighting or performing in these conditions, it added such a sort of richness and a depth to the whole process. But as I was certainly speaking as a Scotsman from this country, you do. Of course, I might be biased, but you're up on Skye and sort of in the Kyle of Loch Alsh, and you're in Aviemore and places like that. And it does take your breath away, and there's a sort of I've always felt that when I went up to Glencoe, where we shot Ranach Moor as a child, there was always a a beautiful romantic melancholy about the place. It's almost you could feel the energy of your ancestors in many ways, if that doesn't sound too strange to say, but you know, there's an energy. It's like places when I've driven across parts of America, when I've driven from Utah, Arizona, California, through Little Bighorn and places like that. There's a spirit, there's something sort of tangible in the air, which I feel in certain places in the world you go, and certainly when I'm in Scotland and you're actually filming in Scotland dressed as a Scottish knight or an English prince, then it's definitely very helpful to your character and to the whole process.
The film's fantastic. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thanks.